The bell above the cafe door jingled as he stepped in, the scent of roasted coffee and fresh bread hitting him instantly. He paused, adjusting his designer jacket, his polished shoes making soft tapping sounds against the wooden floor. It had been years since he had been here, years since he had seen her. Yet, the moment he looked up from the table he had just chosen, he froze. She was there, moving gracefully between tables, a tray in her hands, a gentle smile on her lips that didn't quite reach her eyes. Her hair was tied neatly, and the soft glow from the morning sun streaming through the windows highlighted the gentle curve of her round belly. He blinked, unable to believe it. Emily. His ex-wife. Pregnant. And working here. The noise of the cafe faded into a distant hum as memories rushed back. Laughter, arguments, promises made and broken, a love that had once seemed unbreakable. He could remember the day they had signed the divorce papers, the hollow ache in his chest as she walked away. And now, here she was, looking vulnerable, yet impossibly strong that he wanted to approach her, to speak, to explain, to say something. But the words caught in his throat. He watched as she leaned down to help a little boy who had spilled his juice, brushing her hair from her face. And for a moment, he saw the Emily he had loved, the motherly, caring side of her that had always captivated him. Summoning courage, he stood and made his way toward her, his heart pounding in a rhythm he hadn't felt in years. She looked up just as he reached her table, her eyes widening slightly in recognition, a flicker of something unspoken passing between them. "Emily," he said, his voice low, almost unsure. She paused, the tray shaking slightly in her hands. "James," she replied, her tone careful, neutral, but he could hear the edge of surprise, perhaps even wariness. I didn't expect to see you here," he said, struggling to keep his voice steady. His eyes roamed over her, noticing the small changes, lines around her eyes that hadn't been there, the way her hands moved efficiently, almost automatically, as she balanced plates and orders. "I could say the same," she answered quietly, placing the tray down on a nearby counter. Her hands lingered on it for a moment before she wiped them on her apron, finally meeting his gaze fully. There was something in her eyes, strength, resilience, maybe even a quiet defiance. He swallowed hard. You're pregnant." The words came out before he could stop them. Her hand instinctively went to her belly. "Yes," she said softly. "I didn't expect you to notice." There was no bitterness in her voice, only a calm, firm acknowledgement of reality. He felt a sudden weight in his chest, a combination of guilt and longing. He had imagined this moment 1,000 times, but never like this. I should have known you'd be strong enough to handle anything," he said, his voice cracking slightly. She gave a small, almost imperceptible smile, and for a moment, the world outside the cafe ceased to exist. They stood there, two people connected by a past neither could erase, yet separated by choices, circumstances, and time. "I didn't ask for help," she said finally, her voice steady. "I've managed this on my own. You don't owe me anything." James shook his head, feeling a surge of determination. "No, I want to help. I've made mistakes, Emily. Terrible mistakes. And I don't expect you to forgive me overnight, but I need to try." Her eyes softened, but only slightly. "You walked away before. I had to survive, James. I had to keep going for myself and for our child." He stepped closer, his gaze fixed on her face, noting the subtle glow of pregnancy and the quiet dignity she carried. "I can't change the past, but maybe I can help with the future. I want to be there, for you, for the baby, if you'll let me." There was a long pause. She looked down at her hands, at the counter, at nothing, as if weighing the truth of his words against every wound he had caused. Finally, she looked up, and something shifted in her expression, a mixture of vulnerability and hope. You really mean that? She asked cautiously. I do, he said earnestly. I've been chasing everything else, money, status, success, but none of it mattered without this. He gestured between them, and then to her belly. I lost sight of what was important. I don't want to lose it again. She studied him, skepticism dancing in her eyes. But beneath it, there was a flicker of trust, perhaps a remnant of the love that had never fully died. It won't be easy, she said. I've built a life here. I'm working hard, and I won't let anyone disrupt it, not even you. I wouldn't want to disrupt it, he said quickly. I just want to be part of it. I want to support you in any way you'll allow me. I'll do whatever it takes. Her gaze softened a little more. You know, I didn't expect this, seeing you, admitting your feelings, and actually meaning them. People change, I guess. But it takes more than words, James. Actions matter. He nodded, feeling the gravity of her words. Then let me prove it, he said, his voice steady with conviction. That moment, the cafe seemed to shrink around them. The clatter of dishes, the murmur of conversation, all faded into insignificance. It was just them, facing a past that had hurt them both, and a future that could be rewritten if they dared. Emily took a deep breath and let it out slowly. All right, she said finally, a small smile tugging at the corners of her lips. Prove it. But know this, I'm not doing this for the money. I'm doing this for the baby and for me. If we're going to try again, it has to be real. James felt a warmth spread through him, a sense of hope he hadn't felt in years. It will be real, he promised. I swear it. She extended a hand, hesitant but deliberate, and he took it, their fingers intertwining like two puzzle pieces finally finding their place. It wasn't a perfect moment. Nothing about their history was, but it was a beginning, a fragile, promising start that neither of them could ignore. The cafe continued its usual rhythm around them. James and Emily stood there, connected not just by the past, but by the possibility of a future. And for the first time in a long time, he believed that mistakes could be repaired, that love could be given a second chance, and that the life they had once lost could be found again, together. And in that quiet, unassuming cafe, amid the smell of coffee and the hum of conversations, a millionaire and his pregnant ex-wife took the first step toward rewriting everything that had once seemed broken.